Greetings, sacred souls, ancient beings. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone is in peace in your world. Lots of energetic things going on. Kind of rambling today. It's like a thick, some thick energy going on. It's just thick going on. Lots of things happening. People, strange things seem to be occurring. Same strange things seem to be feeling. So I'm looking at this, no disrespect to the conscious use of AI, but some of this AI is just getting, I don't know, I think out of hand the way some people are using this stuff, and I think at some point in time it's being used as a means to manipulate and deviate from what's real. And what is real. We have been inundated with these technological advances, this new realm of technology, tricknology that we are in at the moment. It's kind of, in a way, overwhelming because it's just so much going on. Everybody's, oh my God, you gotta do it. If you don't do it, you're gonna lose your job, lose your life. All this pressure, and then it seems to be attacking certain groups of people, because if you look at some of the ads, I guess everybody doesn't get the same ads because the watchers send you ads that are more in tune with what you gravitate to. So I guess everybody doesn't get the same ads, but some of the ads that I've seen that seem to be popping up is this: oh my God, you're over 40 and all you do is use ChatGPT for copy and paste, and there's so much more, and if you don't jump on this bandwagon and take this 30-day plunge into learning it, you're going to be left behind and you'll never make it because you're over 40. And over 40 got some type of stigma to it that people over 40 can't learn, people over 40 don't know what to do, people over 40 are just a waste. That's what it seems. We have this throwaway culture seems to be even more predominant now than it has been. It's like we moved into this fast food era where everything is fast, quick, hurry, and we don't get the time to just sit and be. It's like, oh, if you don't get it now, you're never gonna get it. We just, I think in some ways we're losing ourselves to try and be what we are not, as opposed to, it's not that we're being anymore, we're just doing. You have to do this, and you have to do that. You have to do this. When do we have time to just sit? Even sometimes when we're sitting, we're not just reveling in the moment of just being able to be, constantly doing instead of being. And these times when we're sitting down, if any of us ever get to sit down, we're scrolling on social media or playing games or whatever it may be, and we don't get to breathe, we don't get to we're just getting caught up in this, I don't even know what to call it. Sorry for rambling, but it's been on my mind a couple of days. I was supposed to do this the other day and it didn't come to pass because all this other stuff happened, all this other stuff jumped off and got in the way. And just watching how things are transpiring. We got all this stuff going on the planet, and there's just so much stuff you can't even keep up with all the stuff going on. You got to worry about the air, you got to worry about the food, you have to worry about the water, you have to worry about the animals, you have to worry about the people and all the things happening to the people and the people of powers that be and what they're doing and all the things they're not telling us and the things they're using to distract us to keep us from seeing what's going on. And it just gets to be a lot. And if just enough of us would just take the time to just focus on creating that which is good, true, and right for all of us. We could change, we could turn this whole thing around. We don't even realize, that if you have seen the image, if we, the people, the actual people in this situation, in this matrix, would to just unplug and stop going along with the program, stop sheeping. No disrespect to sheep, but stop sheeping. And sheep in the sense of domesticated, how the domestication has taken place and affected us to the point where so many of us is just like they, and who's they? I get it, but truthfully, we don't know who they are, but they do exist, and they got us in these little boxes. We talk about getting out of the box, so we're in these little boxes doing what they tell us to do. If so-and-so doesn't say, oh, well, this is this, and this is this, and this is that, if so-and-so doesn't say that, then we are so apt to not believe it. This whole, people who don't want to succumb, people who don't want to just fall into that, are criticized and vilified for what they're doing. But at the end of it all, if we're looking at it in its proper perspective, we need to be questioning everything. Question everything. Why are these things happening? If governments were so concerned about it, if governments were so invested in making sure that its people were well and taken care of, how is it that anybody is starving? How is it that people are living on the street? How is it that animals are mistreated? How are all of these things? How is our air being polluted? How is our water being polluted? Why are they putting fluoride in our water? Why are they putting chlorine in our water? Why are these things happening if they're looking out for our best interests? It's just carte blanche that we just agree to these things, that we just accept these things without questioning. Why is glyphosate being put in our food? And they're passing these laws these bills, whatever you want to call it, where you are, they're allowing these things to be. Some countries supposedly are fighting the push for these things, but in other countries they're not, you know. Glyphosate has myriad issues, complications, side effects, and it's just like it's okay. You go to the store to purchase food, but most of it's not even food, because the majority of this stuff, if you look at a store, you know, you've got one small little section where you have fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables. But like 90%, 99, well, I don't say 99, but upwards of 90% of the store is everything but real food. And you got stuff in boxes, stuff in plastic, stuff in styrofoam. And it's not real, because in order for this stuff to stay, in order for this stuff to have a shelf life, it has to have something in it, some additive, some preservative, some whatever it is that needs to allow it to just sit there forever and ever. And if the stuff will just sit there forever, what do you think will happen when you eat it or drink it or put it on your body? Because it's not just what you eat, but your skin is very porous. You put these things on your bodies. You put 26-letter words of stuff, and most people don't even know what it is. If it's got more than 5 ingredients, you don't need to be dealing with it. And if you don't know what those 5 ingredients are, you don't need to be dealing with it. You have to get back to the real, as opposed to the unreal. And like, again, no disrespect to conscious use of AI, because it can help in many areas, but at some point, I feel perhaps there should be some more scrutiny, some more transparency as far as how it's being used. If anybody's paying attention on YouTube, all these channels that are popping up, these AI channels, you're going back and plugging in somebody's name or their concepts or their ideas and thoughts and making these channels. And they do have a small disclaimer, but if you don't open the description box, you'll never know. You'll think you're listening to this person or that person that you may follow or may be interested in, or maybe trying to get the wisdom from, and come to find out that it's not real. And it sounds just like the person. Conscious thoughts or philosophical thoughts or wisdom is being shared, and you're thinking it's this person, some old file, somebody remastered or whatever, but it's not. It's being plugged in and spat out as it's this person, but it's not that person. It's the synthetic version of that person. It's the false person. It's the fake. You've got YouTube channels with music that it says it's this person and that person, and you think, oh wow, what a great collab, and then you look, if you open up the little description, because now you have to open up the box to read it, and most people don't do that because you don't have time. You spend an hour to get to work, and you don't get to get lunch, and an hour to get home. You don't have to. You just want to enjoy. But if you're looking for the real, if you're looking for the truth, if you're looking for the actual experience, the actual words, the actual essence of whatever it is you are searching for. You may not be getting that. You may not know. It might not bother you. But, there needs to be more transparency. We need to know what's going on. You watch these videos, and they've got the, for a minute they had these the baby AI, where you have the babies, a miniature version of somebody, speaking. And I guess it looks cute in some ways, but then it's like, why are you doing this? What happened to the real? If you pay attention to what called content creators, but are they really creating that content? There's ways you can use the AI to get, to help you get some ideas on this, that, or the other, but are we just using it to get the idea, or are we using it to be the idea? The copy and paste thing becomes a thing where how do I do this? And instead of, look, okay, I like this, let me put it in my words. You can, if you know what you're doing, you can put in how you think, how you speak, how you process, and it'll come out almost exactly as if it was really you. You can even plug in your voice, and it will sound like you. It's getting to the point where this altered lives, these extra lives, these fake lives, that virtual lives, these AI lives that we may end up living if we're not careful, going down the rabbit hole, and we may get into an AI rabbit hole and lose ourselves, because all we do is we sit there and we learn how to do the prompts, and the prompt, and yes, this, boom, and everything that you want is right there. And in some respects, okay, time saving, because everything is quick, hurry, rush. I get it, but you got to be careful that we don't get lost in the process, that we don't become that we don't become slaves to it, that it gets flipped around where they are using us to live. We become the I don't even know how to explain it, but we are no longer ourselves, and the artificial, the synthetic becomes the real, and we become the unreal. So just gotta be careful of what we're doing and maintain our, it's becoming sort of a catchword these days, but being authentic, being our real selves, being, stop doing all this stuff and be yourself, be you, be who you are, learn who you are. And if we aren't careful, then we keep utilizing these extra means, we will lose ourselves, because we will be so dependent on the thinking of another entity. We will lose that capacity to think to create, to just everything. If we're not careful, we're going to be lost in the sauce. If you look at, I remember, we didn't have computers. As everybody got, almost everybody got a laptop. Everybody got a smartphone. We didn't have these things. We had to actually sit. I remember we used to do flow charts. Anybody remember flow charts? We used to have to, make these flow charts. So, this is the thing, and this is what we're putting in, and if this happens, then go over on this branch of the flow chart, and if this happens, it goes to this. If it's a yes, it does this. If it's a no, it goes here. We are taking ourselves out of the game because we are putting all our impetus, all our effort, a lot of us, almost all of our everything into, it seems good, but then if all we're doing is sitting behind it's doing things at a faster rate, but we have to sit there at the moment. I don't know if it's going to go farther, but we have to sit there and put the information in. But while it's saving us time as far as, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, say, for instance, you want to create an app. So, bam, I want this app to do blah, 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 blah. Okay, bam. It'll give you an app in 2 minutes now? Okay, yeah, it sent you that 2 minutes, but you had to spend 5 minutes, whatever, telling it what you wanted to do. And while if you was to sit there and go through the whole thing and all the commands and the directives and all, yes, it would take you hours and maybe even days depending on the complexity, and yes, it can do it like that. But we're still sitting there using our time, using our energy to create these prompts, to think of these prompts. And we just got to be mindful that we don't lose ourselves in the process, that we don't become these automated shells of what we could be, should be, would be doing. Don't lose yourself and not be yourself. Peace.